It's that time of the day where we like to say it's National League predictions time. It's game week 7. And after last week, it's looking good. For my points anyway, not Aldershot. Oh god, we're bottom. Before we get into this video, I'd just like to remind you guys that we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers before the new year. My aim is to have 1,000 subscribers by the 31st of December, so if you haven't subscribed already, hit that sub button. We're getting there soon. Let's do it. Last week's guest was none other than the legend Luke Walsh, and wow, what a game week we both had. 16 points for me, and 17 points for him. Amazing! Today's guest is none other than Trevor Knell, the Barnet legend. Let's get into this. In the first game of game week 7, we have Aldershot in 24th versus Barnet in 3rd. And wow, this game is going to be a banger for multiple reasons. First of all, we've got Aldershot fans doing the empty the air protest against the owner. Aldershot fans are outraged at this current state that the club is in, being bottom of the National League for a club as big as Aldershot, where we should really be pushing for promotion. We should be a league club, let's be honest. Aldershot coming off the back of a 3-1 loss to Maidstone, absolute heartbreak. I feel personally we played better than Maidstone, but there was that 9-minute spell where Maidstone scored 3 goals. Oh, it was horrible. Oh, no. Justin Amaluta did bag his 3rd goal of the season, however, and I think he'll be a key player going into this match. Barnet coming off the back of a 3-1 victory against Eastleigh at home. They played absolutely superb live on the BT Sport cameras. Only losing 1 game so far this season, and that was against Chesterfield away, and that is why they are so high up on the table. It's not looking good for Aldershot, I'm not going to lie. We're bottom of the league against Barnet, who are absolutely flying right now. So, very difficult, the state we're in, really, to back the boys. So, I'm going Aldershot 1, Barnet 3. I'm so sorry. Trevor, over to you.
Here are my National League predictions for Saturday, the 3rd of September. And we start at the top with Aldershot versus Barnet. Aldershot currently prop the league up and are having a really tough time with things at the moment. Their opponents, being Barnet, flying very well at the top end of the table, 1 defeat in their first 5 games. And I can't see Aldershot getting too much out of this game. Having watched Barnet play Eastleigh on Monday evening and at Chesterfield on Friday evening as well. They're more convincing at Chesterfield than they were against Eastleigh, but they managed to find goals just at the right times against Eastleigh, and I'm banking on Dean Brennan's bees banging another 4 in past Aldershot. So I'm going for Aldershot 0, Barnet 4.
In the next game, we have Bromley at home to Eastleigh, and this is going to be a game for the ages. That's not what's going to happen at all, is it? Bromley coming off the back of a 4-1 defeat to Dagenham and Redbridge. Shipping 4 goals for a team like Bromley is not something you see very often, and it's going to give their confidence a little bit of a dent going into this match. Eastleigh lost 3-1 to Barnet, as I previously mentioned in the first fixture, and they're going to be a bit dented as well going into this one. So both teams having lost in their last game, surely this only goes one. What am I on about? Both teams very off the pace in the last match, but Bromley are undefeated as of yet at home, so I'm going to have to back the home side going into this game. My score prediction is Bromley 2, Eastleigh 1. Trevor, what have you got to say?
Bromley versus Eastleigh. Eastleigh, Barnet's opponent on Monday evening, could have been 1 or 2 goals up before Barnet scored. And again, they've started really well, a lot better than I've expected. Bromley haven't done too bad so far. They did get hammered last time out at Dagenham. They were missing a few key players as well. And I think unless those players return, I can see Eastleigh picking up the win at Hayes Lane. So I'm going to go for Bromley 1, Eastleigh 2.
Following on from that, we have Dagenham and Redbridge versus Notts County, and this is a game where both teams are off the back of victories. Notts County still undefeated this season, and Dagenham and Redbridge taking Bromley to the sword and destroying them. Notts County Notts County defeated Solihull Moors 1-0 with a goal from Mr. Chickson. Notts County still undefeated, and wow, their title hopes are looking better and better. Dagenham and Redbridge managing to turn around their poor start to the season. You'd like to think anyway after a nice 4-1 victory. Putting 4 goals past Bromley is not a very easy thing to do at all. So their tails are going to be up for this game. However, I do think Notts County are just way too strong for Dagenham and Redbridge, and that is why I think it's going to be a very close game, but it's going to be one that Notts County win. I'm going Notts County 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Big man Trev, over to you.
Then at Victoria Road, we've got Dagenham against unbeaten Notts County. Notts, one of only 2 sides that's still unbeaten this season. And the Daggers are blowing very hot and cold. A win one week is followed by a loss the following week. They haven't really got momentum going yet. Notts are a little bit not quite so up and down. They're certainly pushing that much higher up the table where Dagenham should be, and I expect Notts to continue their unbeaten run and come away with a 2-0 win. So that's Dagenham 0, Notts County 2.
Up next, we have Dorking Wanderers versus Wrexham, and off the back of the last few games, Wrexham are looking like an absolute unit, having won their last 3 games in a row, most recently a 3-1 victory at the racecourse over Gateshead, featuring another Paul Mullen goal. It's looking like they're back where they really want to be. And oh gosh, I feel sorry for Dorking. Dorking on the back of back-to-back losses, most recently a 4-1 loss to Luke Garrard's men in Snoreham Wood. Lost 4-1, got absolutely stonked. And oh god, I think they're in for another one. Wrexham are now up to second in the table, and I think that they will absolutely destroy Dorking Wanderers here. They're going to carry on their dominant form. They'll make it 4 wins in a row. My score prediction for this match is Wrexham 3, Dorking 0. Trevor, you're next.
Now, one of the most intriguing games of the weekend, I would say, is Dorking Wanderers against Wrexham. I would say you've probably got the smallest budget in the National League up against comfortably the biggest budget in the National League. That's how far apart these two clubs are. But Dorking are the top scorers at the moment. They're scoring goals for fun. And whichever game you see of theirs is bound to be some entertainment. Wrexham had a good win against Gateshead on Tuesday evening at home. They laboured a bit on the Saturday away at Woking to win, but they're starting to come into a bit of form now, and they're second in the table. So I'm banking on Wrexham to win this one by 3-1, but Dorking are going to score again.
In the next game, we have Gateshead versus Maidstone, and after that 3-1 loss to Wrexham, Gateshead are on the back of 3 L's. Dearie me. Maidstone are coming off the back of a 3-1 victory against Aldershot, making it 2 wins in a row. They were 3-0 up 9 minutes into the second half, and although they did leak a goal, their fans were brilliant. I mean, special shout out to their fans. They didn't stop singing all game regardless of what was going on, and got nothing else to say really. Brilliant fans. Maidstone are looking the stronger team going into this game, and this is why I am backing them to win. Although Gateshead do normally have great home form, they still are yet to win this season, and they won't win again. My score prediction for this match is Maidstone 2, Gateshead 0. Trevor, it's your turn.
On to Gateshead against Maidstone. Gateshead are also in the bottom 4 and one of only 2 clubs with no wins yet this season. But at home, they're taking points off both Barnet and Notts County. So it shows that they're a tough side to play against, especially at home. But I fancy Maidstone just to nick this one. They've seemingly got together the last couple of weeks with a couple of good wins. A good win at Aldershot on Bank Holiday Monday, and I'm going for Maidstone to win 2-1.
Next up, we have Maidenhead at home to Halifax Town, and Maidenhead, oh god, they are in poor form. Maidenhead are going into this game having lost their last 3 in a row, and what's even worse about that, they haven't scored a single goal in any of them. Most recently being a 2-0 loss to Southend, and Maidenhead are starting to perform the way that everyone expected them to at the start of the season. Halifax got their first win of the season last game away to Scunny, winning 2-0 goals from Spence and Slew. It's what you love to see for the Shaman, but not for us because we're still bottom, but that's Halifax are looking the better side coming into this, and they're looking a lot better in general, so my score prediction for this match is Halifax 2, Maidenhead 0. Trevor, you're next.
Maidenhead versus Halifax is next. Halifax are still just inside that bottom 4. Picked up their first win last week. To be fair, they've had a tough start. They have struggled. And Maidenhead with 3 losses in a row will probably give Halifax that little bit of hope that they can get something. But the long journey down from Halifax down to Maidenhead, I just fancy Alan Devonshire's team to turn things around again and pick up another win. If I recall rightly, that Halifax were one of their scalps last season when they were up in the playoffs. They did manage to pick up some good wins against sides up around there. So I'm going for Maidenhead 3, Halifax 1.
Next up, we have Oldham versus Chesterfield, and in the last game, Oldham, from what I've heard, had a smash and grab performance against York. They drew 1-0, by the way. Chesterfield stay undefeated after a nice 2-1 victory over Altrincham. They went 1-0 down, but they got a goal back, and then the man, the myth, the legend, otherwise known as Kabongo Shumanga, got on the score sheet again. Yesterday, he was linked with a move away to Birmingham, although he failed his medical. It was almost confirmed that he was going to be signing for Birmingham for a fee of around £750,000 sterling, but he was not fit enough, he failed the medical, and he is still a Chesterfield player for now. This only improves Chesterfield's team going into the rest of the season, where there are teams that I've backed to win the league, and that is why I think they will win this game again. It's at Boundary Park. It's going to be a close one, but my score prediction is Chesterfield 2, Oldham 1. Shamanga to score again. Trevor, what are your thoughts?
Oldham versus the league leaders Chesterfield. Chesterfield are the other only unbeaten side in the division, and I watched them last Friday evening. Played very well. Shamanga back fit again, providing he's not disappearing on transfer deadline day to the Championship. They've still got plenty of firepower all across the pitch, and they looked very comfortable coming forward against Barnet. Oldham, not surprisingly, are struggling at this level, which I thought they would do, as a lot of the relegated sides from League Two do. And Chesterfield, I think, will comfortably win this one by 2-0.
In the next game, we have Scunny at home to Bournemouth, and after Scunthorpe's first victory of the season, on the opening day, a nice 2-1 win over Yeovil. They've lost all their games since. That's 5 in a row. Oh dear. The most recent one being a nice 2-0 loss to Halifax Town. And they haven't scored in their last 2. They're in the mud. Snoreham Wood won their last game by 4-1, meaning that they're on a 3-game unbeaten run, and they're looking brilliant going into this game. For me, it's nice, simple, and easy, although every time I say this, I always get it wrong. Bournemouth are absolutely going to wipe the floor with them, and that is why my score prediction for this match is going to be Scunthorpe 0, Bournemouth 3. Tyrone Marsh to bag 2. Trevor, do you agree with me?
Scunthorpe versus Bournemouth. Scunthorpe as well, relegated like Oldham last year. They're in the bottom 4. They are in danger. I know it's very early days, but very similar to Southend, they could be going for a double dip relegation if things don't improve drastically. Change the manager after Monday's loss. How much difference that will make, I really don't know. I fancy Bournemouth to nick this one by 1-0. And Wood are just starting to get themselves together, I think. And Luke Garrard teams are always really hard to beat. I think they get that 1 goal and go in front. That will be the 3 points for them coming back home.
Following on from that, we have Solihull at home to Alty, otherwise known as Altrincham. And after that game against Notts County, Solihull have been dealt their first loss of this campaign. Alty also coming off the back of a defeat to Chesterfield, meaning that they, alongside Gateshead, are one of the only teams to have not won a single game this season. It's bloody poor. For me, it's nice, simple and easy. As I said in the last one, Solihull, they win this game easily. I mean, Altrincham haven't even won a game yet, and Solihull, they'll be needing the points after losing against Notts County, and they'll be up for this. They'll have their fire in their bellies. It's going to be Solihull 3, Altrincham 1. Mr. Knell, what are your thoughts?
Solihull against Altrincham. Altrincham are the only other team in the division without a win yet, and that transition from part-time to full-time is maybe just being a bit of a not so much a struggle, but it's a bit different, and they haven't quite come to terms with it yet. And going to a Solihull side that are themselves coming into some good form as well, I'd expect the home side to win quite comfortably. So I've gone Solihull 3. Altrincham 0.
Next up, we have 2 teams that are, in fact, in the south end of the table. It's Southend versus Torquay, and after that victory against Maidenhead, Southend will have a little bit more confidence going into this game. Torquay were 1-0 up against Woking, but they ended up conceding 3, meaning that they lost 3-1, and now are on a terrible losing streak, having lost 4 in a row. I know it's rich to say from an Aldershot fan, but they are on poor form. I am backing the home side to come out victorious from this fixture, so that is why my score prediction is Southend 2, Torquay 0. Will they get a goal? No, they will not. Mr. Knell, over to you.
Southend and Torquay are 2 sides that haven't found any rhythm yet getting going. Southend, I know, are struggling with a lot of injuries, which I think is why they're so far down the table currently. And Torquay, you just don't know which one's going to turn up at the moment, whether it's going to be a side that's going to go out and win or whether a side that's going to turn up and not perform. So I've gone for Southend 0, Torquay 0.
And the last game of Saturday's games, it's the Y Derby. It's York versus Yeovil. And oh boy, this is going to be a banger of a derby. Both teams coming off the back of a draw. It's imminent what the results will be. It's only going one way. York drawing 1-0 to Oldham, and Yeovil drawing 0-0 to 10-man Wildstone after Lewis Kinsella got sent off in the 9th minute. The ex-Aldershot skipper, what a prat! For me, as I previously mentioned, it's going to be another stalemate, and that is why my score prediction is Yeovil 1, York 1. To agree or to disagree? Trevor, do you say yippee?
The final Saturday game, Yeovil versus York. Again, both sides had a bit of a hit and miss start. Yeovil have just pulled themselves out of the bottom 4 over the bank holiday weekend. York are are getting to grips with the division, and I do expect them to finish reasonably high, somewhere between about 8th and 10th this year. But for this one, I've gone for Yeovil 1, York 1.
And in the last game of game week 7, we have Wealdstone at home to Woking after that 0-0 draw due to Lewis Kinsella being sent off. Wealdstone, they're still flying high. They've got no Lewis Kinsella though, and we all know, as Shots fans, that he is one hell of a player. Woking coming off the back of a 3-1 victory. James Daly putting in an absolute masterclass, securing himself non-league Bible Player of the Week. A truly honourable award, and one that will be remembered forever. Yeovil did, however, miss a penalty, so Wealdstone were quite lucky to come away with a result out of that game, but it just shows the character that they have in their squad right now to hold on after being down to 10 men for 81 minutes plus stoppage time. What a team! Wealdstone are 4th, and I think that they have what it takes to take down the almighty scum, and that is why my score prediction for this match is Wealdstone 2, Woking 1. For the last time today, Trevor, what are your thoughts?
There's a game on Sunday which sees Woking head to Wealdstone. Wealdstone, like Barnet, have surprised quite a lot of teams with their start this year. They have led the table at least once so far, and they have got a bit of an issue with discipline at the moment, with a player sent off in each of their last 2 games over the bank holiday weekend, which has seen them slip away just a little. They're still in touch with the sides up in and around them. And Woking, again, I expect them to finish quite high this year. They've spent some money, they've brought some players in, they've backed Darren Sarl as well. And I thought they possibly could have got something against Woking out last weekend and ended up with no points out of that one. But I fancy Wealdstone just to nick this one. So I've gone Wealdstone 1, Woking 0.
That's it for game week 7. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers before the new year. You already know the mission, so let's get it over the line together. Until next week, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and goodbye. See, let's go.